Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday's meditation gathering. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time together. This week, we have Nick Arandes who will lead us in meditation, and then we have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we'll open it up for sharing. Over to you, Nick.
Hey, good morning, everybody. And today, what I would like to do is I'd like to start with lesson 232, the first paragraph of the workbook of A Course in Miracles, just to get us a little bit of an idea of where this meditation will be. Can you hear me okay? Just want to make, can you all hear me okay?
Sorry, Nick. I made a mistake. I muted you by mistake. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I just want to make sure that's okay. So we're going to begin the meditation. I first are going to read something from the workbook from A Course in Miracles, lesson 232, the first paragraph, and then I'll lead you into the process itself. And it reads, "Be in my mind, my Father, when I awake, or when I wake, and shine on me throughout the day today. Let every minute be a time in which I dwell with you. And let me not forget my hourly thanksgiving that you have remained with me and always will be there to hear my call to you and answer me. As evening comes, let all my thoughts be still of you and of your love. And let me sleep sure of my safety, certain of your care, and happily aware I am your child." Okay, so basically what we're going to do in this morning meditation is that we're going to adhere to those words in a way that is simple for us to understand. Okay, so God is in our mind always. It cannot not be. The only thing that doesn't allow for that to seem to happen is when we enter with our own interpretations of what seems to be happening in the mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath and close our eyes if you feel like, and observe that right now life is. What I mean by life is that we are. I am. I cannot not be. That is our nature. Notice that thoughts may appear, and the tendency, according to the nature of whatever the thoughts are, usually is try to avoid them or to quiet the mind. Paradoxically, trying to quiet the mind is what feeds the mind. But how about if instead of trying to quiet the mind, we simply observe? Observe the mind. When we observe, I don't mean pay attention to. It's more like being a state of surrender, awareness. And what we're going to realize is that every thought that passes through have one thing in common: is transitory. Everything is transitory. And yet, what is permanent? What is permanent is the fact that we are, that I am, is the space. As I learn not to identify with any thought, just like clouds, If I don't identify with them, I don't give them any meaning, they continue their course. That is the opportunity that we have all the time. In that lesson, it says, let every minute be a time in which I dwell with you. What implies is that we are always dwelling in the peace of God. That's just the way it is. Except when I begin to give meaning to something, when I bring the attention towards something. And then in that same lesson says, and let me not forget my hourly thanksgiving that you have remained with me and always will be there to hear my call to you and answer me. That answer is actually what is happening right now when I get out of the way. What we're practicing, if you want to use that word, is to get out of the way. The way I get out of the way is remembering that nothing means anything, that I know absolutely nothing. Why are these thoughts in the mind? Because that's what's happening. Why is the world the way it is? Because that's what's happening. We can take it to seeming specifics in our life. Why is my daughter doing this? Why is my father doing that? Why is my husband, my wife doing this? Why is people doing that? It doesn't matter. Whatever it's happening, it's just that. It just is. If I simply allow it to be, meaning don't resist it, meaning don't give any meaning to it, I am listening to my Father, or to God, or to essence, whatever you want to call it. And that is the invitation right now. Not for a 20-minute meditation, but for the rest of our seemingly time on this experience as individuals. And that is the rest in peace that we're invited to always. I don't want anything that is temporary or transitory. All I want is the peace of God, which we already have. Always. And this is the resting space. Let it all be. Let the thoughts be. That's fine. Feelings, sensations, let them be. Why? Because if we are love, love resists nothing. Love simply being embraces everything. And the mind may say, yes, but I don't want to embrace this. Well, because that is a judgment. And the invitation is to look. Looking is just that. Judging it, however, which means giving it any meaning, is the seeming cause of our lack of peace. And the mind can come up with all sorts of arguments. But now we're doing something different. We're reminding that no matter what the argument may seem, it is a thought. And we are resting in what we are always. So if we want to use the word practice, not that I think is the best one, but that's the one that is coming through, is to learn to observe thoughts. And that's it. And you can put it into practice right this moment to see the validity of what is being said. Whatever you think it bothers you is a thought. Whatever you think you may be worried about is a thought. Whatever sense of guilt someone may feel is a thought, isn't it? Because all that there is what is. And the reason why this, which is so simple, seems to be so difficult is because there's an underlying thought that says, I am this individual. This is who I am. This is my identity. And therefore, I need thoughts, beliefs to hold on to that identity. Because if I let go of all those thoughts, and if I let go of those beliefs, I get to lose my identity. But in reality, our identity is not personal, simply is. And it's not an identity. It has no words. We could use the word love because that is what we really are, but it's not a conceptual identity. It simply is. And that's why the Course reminds us from the very beginning, this Course is not attempting to teach us the meaning of love, because that is beyond that what can be taught. Pretends only to remove the obstacles. What are the obstacles? The obstacles are not facts, are not experiences. The obstacles are meanings. So, it's not what my family is doing to me. It's not what the government is doing to me. It's not what the body is feeling. It's not what the things are happening in my life. No, it's meaning. If I drop the meaning, nothing means anything. Lesson number one, what is left? And this is not esoteric. This is very practical. And that's why this time we're spending together is a practical experience, not a meditation to feel good for 20 minutes. No, this is a practical experience that you're going to take with you for the rest of your seeming existence here. And in that moment is when you come to the realization that God is always talking to you. But the language of God is silence, not words. And from that place of silence, words will be used when they are necessary. And that's how we rest in peace right now. And that's the invitation. Just relax and just be. Nothing needs to change. Wanting to change something is a judgment. Embracing everything is simply a state of peace, of trust. As the Course reminds us, everything works together for the highest good of all concerned. Only the ego, which is a thought of judgment, would say that is not true. But look what is happening to me. This is bad. This shouldn't be that way. Again, that's judgment. But if I don't judge, how am I going to react? How am I going to act in this world? It's very simple. Acting happens. The difference is that without judgment, there's no suffering. You will know what to do because it's not you who's doing it. It is what is being done through you as a natural consequence of a mind that is resting in peace. So simple. But as long as I want to keep holding on to my identity, it's gonna seem complicated. But that's okay. Let's go back to presence. Just be. And life unfolds. Life does not make decisions. Life unfolds. If we trust, we can observe the unfolding of life peacefully. And when the mind comes with an argument, yeah, but what if, or what if, just again, take a deep breath. Nothing means anything. I trust that the love of God is guiding it all. And that's how we experience what is referred to as the happy dream. Why? Because I am not longer identified with it. I'm no longer affected by it, just observing it. Because I know who I am. Words cannot describe it and will not describe it. But that is what you rest every time. I remember that I know nothing. And that is the invitation. It's very simple. Let's now enjoy not the rest of this meditation, the rest of our lives. Watching it unfold, trusting the love in which we eternally rest.
Open your eyes slowly and come back into the room. We have 12 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand and I'll invite you to take yourself off mute. If you'd like to leave a message or a comment with confidentiality, put a message in chat function and I'll read it out. Who'd like to share? Jan.
Hi, Nick. Hi, everyone. It's Jan. I've still got you on my screen. To Nick. Nick, very few words, actually. Just thank you. I mean, thank you. Your work is so profound. I appreciate it so much. Your teaching, I'm sure that you would say, but I'm not a teacher, etc. But it's fabulous. Thank you very much. That's all.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Who'd like to share? Norman, take yourself off mute.
I would just like to say thank you very much indeed. It actually works. I thought there was, first of all, was, oh, you'll have to think of something nice to say at the end of this. And I thought, hang on a minute. Who's that telling me what to say? So I was able to discern that. And I said, I'm afraid you're a cloud, you'll have to just drift past. And it sort of kept up for a while, but eventually it went away. So, and I thought, well, who's this I here that knows this? So, so thank you very much indeed. That's one I won't forget.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kirsty, take yourself off mute.
Thanks, Jan. Hi, Nick.
Hi.
That was beautiful. Echo everything Jan and Norman said there. Question for you. If you've got a problem in the world, and it, sorry, I can hear my dogs in the background. If you've got a problem in the world and it's a problem that does need to be resolved in the world, and the means of resolving it is not available. So you kind of think, well, I need a miracle here. The only thing that's going to get me out of this is a miracle. And then you apply the teachings, such as the teachings that you've taught us today. Is it kind of what I'm trying to ask is, doing the practice of a meditation like that in order to solve a practical problem in the world, is that kind of getting it the wrong way around? Is that kind of defeating the purpose? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's a very typical question, okay? First of all, that comes from the belief that I have autonomy and that I am a doer. I know this is a hard pill to swallow, but remember this. Every action that seems to be taking place in our life is preceded by a thought. In other words, when you wake up in the morning, you don't think, I'm going to brush my teeth. A thought comes, I'm going to brush my teeth, and then you find yourself moving in that direction, right? But the mind takes that thought and it says, I thought that, you see? So what we're saying is that we think that we are living our life, but in reality, we are being lived, okay? So as long as we are identified with the ego thought system, with the sense of autonomy, of a sense of personhood, whatever, as long as I am identified with that, I am convincing myself that I am the one doing and making decisions such and such. But the paradox is that the more you rest in this space of awareness, right, it's not that you will not be doing anything. because it's impossible. You cannot not do anything and put it into practice. Try to say to yourself, I'm going to sit in my couch today for the whole day and I'm not going to do anything. And I'll guarantee you that you will find yourself doing all sorts of things. You see? So this is the belief that we have to sort of overcome, the belief that I am in charge, that I am doing something, you know? Everything is being done through us. So the question that you're asking is actually a distraction that is trying to bring us back into the quote unquote world. There is no world. There is not even a you. There's not even a me. This is a seeming happening. But while this seems to be happening, the course says, okay, you're believing in the dream as if it was your reality. Remember, the course is not talking to you. You see, it's talking to the mind that is dreaming you. See, this is all happening in the mind. That's why the course is a course on cause, not effect. This world is the effect, but the cause is the mind. So this meditation or this seeming interaction is not happening between Nick Arandes and you. This interaction is happening between mind and mind. You see, when you're dreaming a dream and you dream that you are somewhere talking to your sister, there's no you and there's no sister. It's only you as mind dreaming that you are you, and there's another thing called a sister. You see, so the course is bringing us back to this space. And the more you trust and the more you rest in that space, because you're not identified with your thinking or with the thinking, it's not even yours, then you observe how life is happening. Is this to say, am I saying these words, or these words are being said through this instrument who happen to be an appearance in consciousness? And who you are is. That's why we're pointing to, you see? So the question you're asking, believe it or not, is a distraction. And the answer is very simple. You will do whatever you are supposed to do according to the script that you're supposed to live. The difference is that when you're resting in peace and awareness, you'll see that whatever you do will be done from that space, which paradoxically would be the best space to do anything from. But if you're identified with the mind that is identified with this individual or with fear, whatever you may be doing may be a reflection of that state of fear. But the fact that you're now being led to these to these reminders, now all that we're reminding here is not what to do. If I were to answer that question, I'll be just basically feeding the very same dream that you're believing in. What we're saying is that as you rest in consciousness, you rest in peace, you see, trust that you will do whatever you need to do if something needs to be done. Because in many cases, that distraction, when you don't put your attention on it, it resolves on its own. I don't know. I have no answer to questions like that, but I can remind you of who you are. And if you rest in that space, trust, and you see how life will unfold for you. And that question and all the questions will immediately dissolve into nothingness, because they're just distractions. Questions are just simply thoughts that comes up. And if you just hang on to the question, you believe that you are that person, and you believe in the argument of the question, and then you complicate things. It's much simple. That's what the course always remind us. Forgiveness does absolutely nothing. It simply observe and judges not. You stay there, remember who you are, and don't worry about the things of the world. That'll take care of itself. That'll be done however it's supposed to be done. But you will be at peace while you seem to be having the experience of being a individual. And that's what we're pointing to. So your question is basically, again, don't let that distract you from the presence in which you're resting right now, right this moment. This is all we have to remember. Did that answer your question? I don't know.
Yeah, well, it did answer it. Yeah. Thank you, Nick. This is definitely going to be one of my go-to YouTubes for the future. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Who'd like to share?
Jim had his hand up earlier.
Oh, Jim. Jim and then Dennis.
I did, but I had a very similar question to Kirsty. And so I think my question's been answered, but I'll say thank you also, like everybody else. It was a wonderful meditation, Nick. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Dennis.
Thank you, Nick. Your lesson today has been like a mystical experience. So much knowledge has come through. I just can't take it all in at the moment. Thank you. Just an experience I had last Saturday. I normally meditate for 20 minutes in the evening and sit in my chair. And I've been here since 2007. And I don't know what happened or whether I fell asleep or not, but I opened my eyes and I didn't recognize the place. I thought, what the hell am I doing here? You know, what is this place? And it took me 5 minutes to recognize I was in a house. But before that, you could have put me down in the middle of the Caribbean and I wouldn't have recognized it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, it's rather like going back, when I think about it now, it's rather like going back to where I used to live years ago or where I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a memory of the place, but not much. It was just a very second in time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
We have a message in the chat. Thank you, Nick. That was really great.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And who'd like to share? Teresa, take yourself off mute.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Nick. And I love the way Holy Spirit uses you. The words were very lovely. And I kept wanting to write them down. So I did. So life unfolds and trust. I love that. And we can observe the unfolding of life peacefully. I really love that. And I had a disturbing thought come up yesterday, and which didn't shift really. But when you said, don't resist that thought, it's the resisting that was causing me the problem. And then thoughts are, transitory. What is permanent? And that brought me back to, so I just thank you so much. You answered all my prayers, or Holy Spirit through you did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we've come to the end of our time together. Thank you, Nick. That was wonderful.
You're
And thank
welcome.
you all for being here. And take yourself off mute. Show your appreciation to Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Nick.
you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Nick.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Thank
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Nick. It was wonderful. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.